We should be going live. Yep. Here we go.
We're live now.
There's X, uh, YouTube, and Facebook. Yeah, we're live. All right. Okay.
What's up,
All
bro?
right. Here we go.
Yes, I'm pumped to be here. I'm just sharing this with a guy I actually just met. I was out and about walking and just serendipitously ran into just another soul that is very much in the flow with all of this. And I don't know, it was a great meeting. So today's been a great day.
Wow. Wow. What a
Yeah.
way to start. I mean, there's so much that we talked about over the years. You and me, we've probably done a dozen shows together or collaborations, music or talking or both. Um, but something's really changed. And that description you gave, I think, is legit because there's something about the thread of existence that every day you realize, oh, this shit's cool. I mean, like, hey, you know what? Every day will be better than the last day.
For
And the
sure.
last day was a damn good day. You know what I mean? It's happening.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I think it's important to see life as it's like it's a journey that's a waveform. And so sometimes there's the ups, sometimes there's the downs, the just the different sort of paths. But I remember, I don't know who said it. It was someone on Soulogy a long time ago, but that regardless of whether or not it's actually a positive experience or an immensely negative experience as far as the soul goes, which sits in a more neutral stance, it's like it's experience, right? And if it's a deep, living, kind of exploring, expansive experience, then that's excellent. Like
Right.
that's excellent on that kind of like deeper internal level. And so sometimes we require there's more challenging experiences. And I know for myself in the last 2 years, really, it's been really challenging. But at the same time, it's just been, it's like
Yeah.
you go through
You're
these
like,
levels
you're
and then
literally dying and birthing at the same time. You're descending and ascending at the same time. And you know what's crazy is the show I just did 2 hours ago said the same thing. The guest said the exact same thing.
Mhm.
So, yeah. So the split, the Earth split they were talking about all these years and all that, it's in here.
Yeah,
It's in here. It's like the humans breaking down, but you have this reverence for the human at the same time. The soul's coming in, and actually, it's not just the human getting used to the soul coming in; it's the soul getting used to the human, which has really been our whole trip. You know, people talk about I'm a galactic. I came here. I'm not from here, but this is here.
for
This
sure.
is it. This is it right here.
Well, it's interesting. I feel like the spiritual side of things is actually very easy for me.
Hmm.
Like it's just fluid and it's just life, and I don't have to try. And I'm always going to have metaphysical experiences. I'm going to clear my field. I'm going to work on something, and I don't seek out ceremony. My life is ceremony, but like
Right.
the problem is like it's been challenging for me to integrate being a 30-year-old man in society, in this world, making
Hmm.
money, like doing things like that, and kind of the more logistical sides. And so it really does feel almost like I'm this, oftentimes this really big like dragon that's like got all these different parts. Like I've got all these different aspects. I'm not just a dragon. I got all these different parts to me, right? And they're just trying to like shove this into this human body and
Yes.
then just like live a life and not be insane. Like not all over. And
Hey.
sometimes you are out of balance and sometimes you are, and so like that's an interesting thing to kind of integrate
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Um, and so I think like it's all about the integration, right? It's about like taking these high level energetics or truths or frequencies or things around integrity or concepts or even simplicity or like whatever and integrating it
Yeah.
into this physical lived experience. And we're all just trying our best here. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
that's really all this is, you know?
Yeah, I think the doing our best part of it, you know, if you want to put it in these terms, is the universal coding, or you could say the general or the, you know, ultimate universal coding that we're giving the universe. Because, you know, you were saying it and you said it so well. I mean, you're having this breakdown. You know what I mean? You're having this total, I mean, it's no BS either. It doesn't matter who you talk to. So it's almost like we got these downloads or transmissions or knowings from out here, and they're coming in here, you know, and now it's just us. And so we're having this human part of us that will be seen, that will be heard, that will walk this path in tandem with that soul, that multidimensionality. And I still make a joke about it because I feel like a lot of what I've heard over the last 12 or 13 years, whatever, doing the work I've been doing, is people saying, you know, like, I don't belong here. What the hell is this? And I really feel like that's been the soul coming in, getting used to it and understanding, just as a human will get to, I am soul. But the soul coming in going, oh my God, I was already here. I was already boots on the ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's no need to try. It's the letting go of the trying and the actual like being. And actually today I was sitting so interesting sequence of events kind of wove today. I actually feel like this is kind of like a shift, and I just want to acknowledge, Todd, that like you have always come in at these interesting times in my life and kind of provided these like really expansive opportunities. And so I'm so grateful for you and so grateful for what you've done with Soulogy and how you've really just catalyzed so much for our community and for all of us to connect and for all of us to learn from each other and grow together. And none of this is implied. Like none of this stuff that we're going through right now is just like gonna be here unless you do it, unless someone does it, right? And like you're the one who's raising his hand, who's like, I'm gonna do this. And like I've tried to do it. Maybe one day I will. It's hard. It's hard to sit down and to consistently create content. It's way harder, I'm sure, to get people together. It's way hard, especially when we're all kind of, we're processing through things. We got ego, we've got, different layers of things we think are true, we believe are true, different spiritual experiences. I don't see it as there is one way. I actually see it as it's like it's infinitely fractal, the ways we all coalesce. Like think of all the different ET races, elemental races, different pieces out there. And it's like someone might be more embodied over here, someone's more here, or someone's more Christic, or someone's more, like Christian, or someone, like scientific or whatever. And we're all trying to come together. And you being this community organizer that kind of like flows all of this, it's just it's such a blessing, dude. So I just want to acknowledge that. Like I'm so grateful that you've done this and that I know you and that our community has existed throughout this time. And sometimes it's in the absence of something like this also. Like I know there was an extended period of time where we haven't communicated, in a period of time
Yeah,
where
but it was kind of like your message. You're like, I'm happy to come out into the Soulogy community again for the first time. I think you said like in 2 years or something. I'm like, well, me too, because I've been gone too. These last 2 years have been something, you know.
I think we were all
But thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. My soul feels that I can receive that fully, and I couldn't have done that before. Probably the solstice of December. You know, that 12-year period that ended from 2012. Something's definitely changed now.
for sure.
I mean,
Well,
you look totally different. I mean, like I've because I still keep tabs on you and shit, see what you were doing when I'd pop in. But like, yeah, you look like a bit kingly, coming into your own, comfortable in your own skin. I think maybe that's one way people might be able to relate, even through all the distortion and through the self observation and getting past self judgment and and really getting into this space that we seem to be in. Yeah, that to me, being comfortable in our own skin, just like, hey, this is it. This is me. This is us.
we're questers. Like we're people who we just we love the journey, man. And we take on the shit like
Mm.
in every life. Like we take on what's what's the big, powerful, difficult, challenging quest, God? I'll do it. You know, I see that in you. I see that in me. Like, I see that in so
That's every
many
one of
people.
us, man. I'm telling you, even though I'm telling you, though, you're right, though. There are some that are at the front of the line.
Well, I'm not at the front of the line. I'm actually, you ever hear the J. Cole song Middle Child?
Yes. Yes. I love J. Cole. Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel. Like I'm like there's like the old guard who really built this. And then there's kind of like the new up and coming awakening people.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of in like this middle spot where it's like I work really hard on myself and like I'm starting to blossom, like step into my own, and I have been for a bit. But it's just kind of like I'm the younger brother and I'm the big brother,
Yeah.
and I'm the
Yeah.
in between. And I'm just a dude. I'm just I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude. Like I'm not disguised anymore. I've taken off the disguise. That's the whole point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like it's just about it's about being yourself, learning, growing, and integrating God through
Yeah.
everything you go through. Like, and there's no right or wrong to that. And I there are different experiences and different choices we can make that can make things more difficult, that can make things, perhaps more treacherous or more challenging. But like regardless, no experience is better than another. It's like this we all get this beautiful journey that's been facilitated for us. There's this wonderful architect creator and then fractal emanations of that outwards facilitating this incredible experience. And like it just, it is. And I think as you kind of come to that state of neutrality around that, you start to say like, some days I feel like shit, but that's okay.
Hmm.
Some days I feel good, I feel great, I feel amazing. Today I felt in the flow. Today felt like almost like a festival-ish sort of day, just in my own world, and that's brilliant. But like learning that the high and the low and the in between, it's all catalyzing what needs to occur. And sometimes like if you have a high level goal, like let's say like you want 12D avatar embodiment or you want whatever, like bro, like you're gonna have to freaking earn it. There's no
Mm,
way around that.
mm, mm.
That's a hard journey. That's a hard quest. That hasn't been done since Atlantis. Like that hasn't been done since a very long time. Like
It
even
hasn't been done. The level we're going to, or probably already at, it's never been done. You know.
yeah, like and there's been these people like Yeshua who have, really downstepped these codes and brought in like the certain like frequencies that we need at the specific times. I'm going through sort of a resurgence around Christianity. It's like something I totally rejected, but the stories of Moses and Yeshua and the different prophets have actually really helped me to integrate like my challenges lately. Like
Mm,
actually like learning about the challenges they went through is like helping me be like, okay, like and like be like this is building muscle. You know what I mean? Like this is putting that stress on that sort of load so that I can actually become strong enough to actually get up that mountain so that I can actually be the person that I need to be, and then like integrate that kind of like it's perfect, and like let that go, that kind of need for whatever I thought it would be. And like that's been this year kind of in a nutshell for me. Like I thought that I would reach a certain level of consciousness, which I achieved what I thought I would achieve. It's just now the bar is way higher. I achieved a certain level of consciousness and was like, holy fuck, now I see all the darkness. And
mm,
then it was like, I don't just see the darkness sees me.
mm,
And
mm,
like I took on all of it with the War No More Peace Restored, and it all attacked me and came at me because I called it out. Me and my tribe, we called it out, and then it was like, no. and we got tested. We got our cards pulled. They were like, "Who the fuck are you?" And I had to deal with insanity, absolute insanity for months, and like purify myself to such a high degree so that like I could just live. And like it's humbled me like so much, like to a degree where it's like I just want to be I just want to be a good person. I don't want to be I don't want to be super powerful anymore. I don't want to be king anymore. I don't want to be whatever. I just like God, just let me be like in alignment. Please,
Mm,
I will
mm.
fall in order. I will do what is necessary. Like, I don't know. That's a, that's a nutshell.
No, dude, that you're on fire, man. Like I can feel. Yeah, I don't care. I don't. I mean, like it's to me, you can't even describe. I mean, you just did one hell of a job. In the last two or three or four shows, the same type of things happen, but it's really the overall energetic illumination of each one of us that's operating in a space that really is uh, the currents with us. I mean, it's not this pushback anymore. The only pushback is that which with we have to handle within ourselves, which is what you're really talking about. Transformation, where you, like, I'll just use myself as example because I don't want to, get personal, but like it's not just it's not you notice it with your mother, with your father, with your sisters, with your brothers, with these closest mirrors to you that have been the have been the friction. I mean, and you're starting. You know what I mean? You can see it in yourself, like you said, just to be a good person. Like, what does that mean if I have to walk back into this arena, like say the family? As a lot of us, have done in the last couple of years. You don't. You just walk in and be you, the same you are with me. This is I don't want to get like sound like religious, but it's like the living soul. All the propaganda, all the protocol, all the modalities, the sessions. I'm not sorry about it. It's all going away. We're self-sourcing, and the more we self-source, which is going to be, indicative based on what we're transmitting and what's being reflected back to us. Like this moment, right? I'm going through my stuff. You're going through your stuff. You come on, you're on fire, and I'm getting lit up. And anyone that would be watching this, I feel, would see that that's this kind of unspoken. It's not what you're saying. What you're saying is important. What I'm saying is important. But it's this transparency. I think you said that.
It's
The transparency.
the transmission and the transparency, and the transformation of the energy. Like it's
It's physics in form, in
yeah,
conscious form.
exactly. The door is open,
Yeah.
right? We are not shutting the door here and playing a
Yeah.
character that we are not. Like
Right.
if I step forward as I am, who I am, our cells, our DNA will communicate. It will express together from that openness, from that open door, But if I shut down, if I shrink myself and I put up walls and I whatever, it's like I can't learn.
Mm,
I can't learn from the world. I can't learn
mm,
from that tree, right? It's
mm,
this is interesting. So while I was out and about walking in the woods today, on a trail that I frequent, um, it's there's this elemental that essentially cultivates the land, right? This is like an elemental that oversees this sort of area, this sort of region, right? And like it looks almost like a frog humanoid-ish being. And me and this being, we've gone back and forth. This has helped me a lot. But it's interesting because it's taught me lessons about, kind of like swimming through the muck and like the density and like actually like being in like sort of like the physical and like in the ground and like seeding and planting things and like being more grounded, which is something that I always need to learn because I'm very much like a hawk. Like I'm more like looking down upon the world. Like I need to ground, right? And so, I'm learning a lot from it. And it was talking to me about so it's like, why are you suffering? Right. And it's seen me go through this suffering journey and I'm coming towards the end of some sort of things, but it's like helping me integrate some of it. And it's essentially saying like, it's describing its union with its beloved. And it says, it doesn't hang out with other elementals. It's not chatting with other beings. This being is alone. And this being is seeding codes and managing this land and managing all of this area and this region and just doing its work. And it
Hmm.
loves its work. It's made for this work. This is what it's designed for. There's nothing wrong with that. It's totally perfect being alone. And for me, I've struggled with tribe, I've struggled with community, I've struggled with being away from people. But like in so many ways, like I'm often in the quantum, I'm often managing something, I'm often doing something energetically, I'm often in some sort of thing. And it's like saying, like, some beings are just that. That's what
Hmm.
they're designed to do. And it's like, that's what I do. And it's like saying, I understand that as a human, like you guys have relationships and you guys have interactions, but you don't have to be with other humans, like, or whatever. Like it's just essentially,
Maybe he's a reflection of you. He's
yeah,
just not a human. You know what I mean? Like that's like, how do you see that? Do you see? Because we've all gone through levels of embodiment, and there's no right or wrong. There's no comparison. I'm just saying, do you are you, do you see that energy, that consciousness is well? Obviously it's a reflection of you. I mean, I guess at the end it's oneness, but you know.
yeah. So this is a really interesting concept. Um, I guess I'll go a little deeper into the lesson kind of that it taught me in a sec. But so, in the sense that we are all one unified being, um, everything is one. Right. So ultimately, every you, right, are a reflection of me. Like, but we do play games of separation, sort of with boundaries, just so that we can go through a hero's journey experience, living throughout time and timelines, and
Mm.
actually integrate growth and experiences. And you can picture each of us as like a note, like a sort of frequency. This is how I see it, like a frequency that's sort of moving throughout reality that upholds a certain part of reality. And so, like, I uphold a certain part of reality, you uphold a certain part of reality, whatever does. And fractally, whatever our soul and our monad and our oversoul, our avatar kind of upholds this certain piece of reality all the way up the tree to God. And then there's all these other sort of
Mm.
emanations that sort of hold different frequencies. And then they sort of communicate. And so we're all teaching each other, but we have speciality. We have a certain thing that like we are sort of like more of a master of.
Mm.
Whereas like something else might have mastery over something else. And this is where the debate about right or wrong is so foolish because it's like there are beings that are literally designed to uphold the darkness. And it's like they're designed to be the negative polarity. And it's like you're trying to tell them, hey, be the positive polarity. They're like, no, bro, I'm
Yeah,
doing.
that's the human condition, right? I mean, that's like that. What you're talking about is you're embodying or you're being or you are the consciousness of what you're talking about in this type of um, evaluation that would, let's just say, that would guide your full consciousness is no longer driving the car. You know what I mean? It's like you said earlier, like I just want to be a good person. So
Yeah,
that's both like the human from the core and the soul from the core, you know?
I
Like
think I think so Jordan Peterson is an interesting perspective on this where he and he sees things a bit more philosophically than energetically, but I do appreciate his approach on things. he's an interesting perspective on polytheism versus monotheism. And he says polytheism is a less sophisticated form of spirituality because essentially it's worshiping different archetypes as gods, but you're worshiping these different archetypes and then you focus on them, but you aren't focusing on one unified whole God. And that essentially, if you focus on the one unified whole God, right, you're focusing on this sort of like it's the unification of all archetypes. It's not just one archetypal frequency, right? And so you can fall out of balance if you focus on an archetypal frequency or you focus on something. And so I can see how, the sort of like there can be a disunity in focusing on different dimensional aspects. But I personally do experience reality as the tree spirit has its own elemental aspect. The lake has its own
Right.
elemental aspect. The
Would you
bay,
say would you say that you're experiencing it in singularity, but also in multidimensionality? Because I can see what you're saying, but at the same time, because I mean, polytheism and the other is a man-made word and definition or whatever, but I think that's been a big part of what has happened and what is happening and what will happen is that in all walks of life, those memories, let's just say, of the multidimensionality, the composite of each one of us, and you're right, each one of us is a different piece. That if you look probably when we get there at the lineage of the incarnations has always been there. Like what you were talking about with me. I know from my own personal experiences through the last 14 years that there is a certain thing, a common thread in my soul lineage or my human lineage that is bringing people together, producing things, like say pushing creativity or something like that, right? But what I'm saying is that um, it's almost like it's coming down to like what you represent, especially like what you did at the beginning of the show. I just want to be a good person. I am, obviously, as I'm connected. I'm aware of a lot of things. I'm having this experience when I go into the forest. I mean, this is reality. But I am here. I am Robert. And
yeah,
and I think that's like where the real the like the deepest gold, the deepest code is what you were talking about at the beginning too, which was working through like the lady that was on tonight before, she was speaking metaphorically and probably literally to a degree. She was saying that she will not leave the house if she doesn't have her shift together. Like she will not go out into the world energetically, and because it has become the priority, not in terms of like piousness or anything like that, but in terms of what best serves her and how she can serve. You know what I mean?
yeah. I think so. I think that we can get lost in stories and specialness when it comes to multidimensional things and start to think of ourselves as something grandiose or something above. And I think it's really important to be humble and to
Mm,
come back to that sort of like I'm just me. Like I'm Robert. Like I'm having my experience. And that I personally disagree with taking on tons of fancy titles and fancy names and things like that on top of yourself because I think they can start to separate yourself. Even like having like past life experiences, like being like I am this famous person
yeah.
from
Well,
past
I think
life.
that's what you were saying about with Jordan Peterson. I think and he has a valid, perspective is like over attaching to any of those things, or even
Exactly.
over attaching to the composite and missing the forest. You know.
Exactly. And it's like, but reality is infinitely fractal. And so if
Mm,
I do decide to zoom in on a specific lens, I can quantumly
mm, mm,
receive from that lens. Like I can go into that tree and get the essence of what that specific tree's experience is. Not the whole forest. I could go to the whole forest. I could go to the tree. I could go to the single drop of water, the single water molecule. I could go to the glass of water. I could go to the lake. I could go to the ocean, right? I can go fractally up and fractally down. And if I view it as light and I view it as the frequency, as the vibrating frequency inside of it, it does have a resonance. It does have a song. It has an expression. Now, as a human, I am going to interpret that resonance and that song through my own lens. My lens is probably going to be through the English language and probably through sight and imagery and different things like that that I can actually interpret. So, does this elemental look the way that I think it looks? It's probably just an orb. It's probably just a sphere. It's probably just a frequency. It's probably just whatever. But for this context of this specific situation, this thing is presenting to me in my reality as a sort
Exactly.
of frog-like, you know, half aquatic humanoid-ish sort of being that now I'm having a conversation with that somehow articulates a sort of higher dimensional awareness of what it means to be grounded and to be seeding reality as nature in the
Right.
forest, in this specific segment of land, and not to care about the bullshit of money or about this
Exactly.
or
That's
the
what I'm saying. If you take the human's condition, the human conditional perception, take that out, it's all right there. And I guess that's what we're doing. You know,
exactly.
any engagements we've had, any relationships, any connections, anything that makes sense, doesn't make sense, is fair, not fair, and we get to this point where the intelligence that you're describing on a personal level, be it elemental, angelic, galactic, whatever the fuck, right? It is so it has reached such a level, not just in that plane on a uh, let's just say on an etheric level for an individual, but also it's starting to be recognized in each other
Yeah.
because the film is going away. The prejudice, the bias, the judgments. We're all going to this place. And look, you know, I wrote years ago, humility and humiliation are the same thing.
Right.
You know, like in other words, you mentioned when you mention humble or humility, like there is no question that as we keep ratcheting up, we're eating humble pie. No one may know about it, but we are. And I, you know, and I keep saying the last few weeks, um, you know, you hit this level of stupidity
Yeah.
because not in a bad way, not in a way degrading. I'm just saying that you go, oh my God, I was that deep, and regardless of the patterns, like I might have seen patterns for 50 years and 6 or 7 different connections or whatever. The sting is gone, and you're on the other side of it, going, oh my God. You look back and go, okay, well, it all makes sense. I got the message now, you know, and and now what do you do with it? And I don't feel that. In fact, I can say this for myself, and I've seen too many people allude to it. You can't make a schedule. I'm not saying you can't be in that environment, but like the clock's going away, the week's going away, time is going away. We're moving as energy beings. We're working off of feeling versus feelings. And what's happening to me is we're being taken to a place which I happen to really like, which is where we start to create with each other. And it's only like you said, like I just want to be a good person. I want to try to ball out while I'm in this body and be transparent. And that's a lot of layers. That's a lot of layers for every one of us, and it's really an individual journey. I think that's why so many people have been put into isolation. And I think you went on a journey for a while, then you came back and you probably, you know, a lot more alone time than you had. But I really feel like there's a lot of people have been anchoring in a greater have been anchoring in a further embodiment that was requiring a lot of brutal honesty of the soul, dying, birthing, and we're starting to come out now. And what's going on in the world isn't even a concern, not in the sense that we don't care. But we realize the best thing we can do is what you were talking about, is to continue to transform and grow. Like the way you said that with passion, like, I want to grow. I can't do this if I stay here. And there's a lot of places that, uh, if we stay there, we're way out here before. Now they're, you got to leave this one behind too. Like every identity, it's like all these little sayings are coming into full 100%. There is no middle ground, letting go, surrender to trust, or whatever you want to call it. But I do believe creativity is the reason we're here. I believe that we didn't just come to awaken. We came to say, okay, oh, wow. Uh, how are we going to play now? What are we going to do with this information, with this knowledge?
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I and I'm not going to say I have this totally right in this. It's very interesting because I my life isn't necessarily the happiest always. Particularly recently, it hasn't been.
None of us is.
Yeah. I
I mean, I say that with the greatest respect, but I can tell you, I didn't think I'd be going through what I'm going through for the last 7 weeks. It came out of nowhere,
for sure.
right? And there's multiple streams too. Like, we're not just, it's a summary life, Robert. And, like what you were talking about with, you feel like I don't know how you said it, but like you feel like the son and the father. You feel like the one coming behind the first wave, but also you feel like the other. I'm 63, you're 30. And I was listening to you and I'm thinking, shit, that I was like at 50 doing that.
Yeah,
So what does that mean? Like there's all these dynamics, such as the generation 20 years behind you. Like, are the 10-year-olds now going through what you did at 30 that I did at 50? Like the energy is way beyond any AI tech.
for sure.
This is soul tech. This is the real tech.
And I feel incredibly called to build, which is an interesting situation to be in, but being where I'm at, 30 years old, like being as aware as I am and having done the work that I've done on myself, I'm very aware of my ability to essentially build, like architect my life to be, design it to be as I desire, like as I want it to be. And I understand the sort of feminine flow and the surrender, and perhaps that is something that I actually need more integration into, right? And sort of being more like the water. I'm very fire. Like I
Mm,
have a tendency to be incredibly fire, and I am very much architect. Like
me too.
I design things. I design things in the quantum. I design codes. I design like, and I design songs. I design poems. But also in my life, like I have this drive and I have this energy where I very much embody this. I will do whatever it takes, and I have done that across many lives. I mean, people
do
might.
people do people think you're stubborn in this life?
I'm incredibly stubborn.
Yeah, because I've always felt like a stubborn human makes a stubborn soul. That's how I can always spot on old souls, because they're stubborn as fuck.
No, I have to know why. Once I know the reason why,
Yeah.
I'll go all in on something, and I'll go so all in to the point where it's like I take my head up and take a breath. I'm like, "Oh my God, how did I end up like this?" And then I go and fix it. But, you
But
know,
stubborn is, you never stop asking questions. To me, that's what stubborn is. You never stop asking questions. Like you said, I have to know.
for sure.
And
And
if you get to a point, and you get to those points where Toto goes behind the curtain and opens up the curtain, and the Wizard of Oz is there, and the whole world. This is the level of, proportionally, shift that we're I feel like we're having, and I feel like we're just coming out. Like, maybe after 6 months, 7 months of this year, after that solstice, we're just coming out. Like, this consciousness is so fucking huge. It's us, and that's the key. And then you have the the reflection of it through like AI and the distortion we've seen that's doesn't have the effect on us that it used to. It's coming down to this, like you said, like, this was a great day. You had a great day. And that's there's no teaching there. There's no the teaching, the information, the data, the code comes through. You lived it and now you're talking about it.
I did learn a lot today, though. I think the interesting thing is it's like my masculine side, like I will work like beyond full time to make shit happen. I will freaking grind. Like I feel a bit different than a lot of the spiritual community. Like work two jobs, like work a delivery job, like whatever, because I'm like, I need the fucking money now. I'm not like, like I will like and the job is teaching me and I'm doing grid work while I'm doing the job and I'm doing all kinds of things. There's a specific reason why I'm here. I'm actually mapping this company. There's actually some sort of specific.
Alchemist, magician.
Exactly. But at the
Speak
same
to it.
time, I'm shielding. I create a very advanced quantum architecture so that I can be inside of this environment around
Mm,
these people and around all these
yeah.
AI sentinels and all these different things that are happening quantumly inside the field and deal with it. Other people can't leave their house. I'm the one going into the city. Like
Mm,
I'm the one who's like on the train and I like and so like a lot of people they're like like I can't be around these energies. I see the being that is that energy that's quantumly attacking people. I know how to portal it out, handle it. Like and so like that's kind of I have this I have this role where it's like and it's so hard for me sometimes because it's like there's so many layers of me. There's like rapper me, there's like spiritual quantum me, there's like just the dude who just chills, who's like, whatever. There's like the part of me that's like the student that's like going back to college. There's like the part of me that, like is a brother, is an uncle. Like there's all these different layers to me. And I just like feel them and see them so deeply and I'm so invested in making them all come into alignment that I will just force reality to align and I need to flow better. I know
mm,
this. This is
yeah.
very much a
Yeah.
thing for my life.
Flow. Yeah. Flow reality, right?
Yeah. But at the same time, like I see a challenge and maybe this is because of my wrestling background and my MMA background and my um like things that I've done, but it's like if I need to run uphill, I'm running up the fucking hill. Like if I need to go run multiple miles, if I need to do pull-ups every day so that I'm strong enough so that nothing messes with me, I will do it.
Mm,
Like and it feels fiery inside of me. It almost feels like sometimes I like want to cry because it's like it hurts sometimes. But at the same time, like shit needs to get done. And I'm not the person who's waiting. And
yeah.
like I
Yeah.
like if I need to go to Cape Cod in the middle of the night and I got work tomorrow, I'm going to Cape Cod to do grid work in the middle of the night. I'll get 2 hours. I don't give a
Welcome to
fuck,
the club.
you know? If I gotta go to
those
New York,
those late night calls, right?
yeah, like whatever God needs, like put me in, coach. Like, and I've said
Yeah.
that so many times.
Yeah.
At a certain
Um,
I'm so in.
yeah, I got you,
It's
man. I
it's
got you, man. Believe
challenging.
me, that's why I recognized you a long time ago. We had the same fucking fire. Um, one of the things that you were talking about was like structuring semantically, geomantically. I mean, these are my words. Words, lyrics, songs, poems, poetry, prose, whatever. But one thing that you've always been able to do very well, I would have to say, definitely top 10 of what I've ever seen. Not to put any pressure on you, is to be able to freestyle. And I've done it. I've had my moments, but not like you can go from start to finish. So I don't know if you want to, go through the last 15 or 20 playing around with some freestyle, but I've got a little bit of music. We can, if it if
The
it doesn't
problem,
fit, just let me know.
yeah, the music, it'll probably cut out.
No, I
Um,
got I got some over here. You'll hear it. You'll hear it.
but will my voice in the music kind of like,
Yes, yeah, I have a controller here. You're
okay,
good. You're good. Yeah, you're good. That's why I was testing it. That's why I was asking you to talk. When we first got started. After you. Okay.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I expected to flow, so
Well, this is 5 minutes of the same beat. It's well, just see what happens. If we don't like it, we'll just turn it off. You go first.
You ever see the movie Ip Man?
What is it?
Ip Man?
If man? I
IP Man. It's a Chinese movie.
No, I haven't. I haven't.
It's about a kung fu master who lived during World War II and then during communist China, and it's actually incredibly inspiring. It's on Netflix, but it's about this Wing Chun kung fu master who had a different style of kung fu, who was the greatest in China, and he's kind of like a spiritual leader, right? Like whatever. But anyway, because he's in China and he's a kung fu master, like of course he's like a leader people go to for advice and stuff. But like he's always down to fight. You know what I mean? Like he's always ready. That's how I feel with the
He's
rap.
Robert.
I'm
He's
always ready
Robert.
with the rap, man. Like I don't I
Oh, I got you. I got you. Okay, I got you. Okay. Well, hell yeah, let's do it. Let's see what it sounds like. I just pulled this off my computer. Let's see. You hear that? The sweet tune. DJ Screw, Houston, Texas. Here it goes.
Protecting all these goals in different places that unfold. I know that there is so much to my soul and so much stuff to show. You could just nod your head and tell me how does this work. You know that there's a way that we could be up on the wave. Like we could listen to each other in this mission just today. And just to know another person is just embodying different things in their mind that they think is godly and they think this is the way to go, these instruction sets. I can't judge them because I know that they are just living their best and they're on their quest. So I do my best in opening up my heart to every single reflection of myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Right on, man. I don't know how the hell you did that.
I could keep going, bro.
Hang on, let me try to slide in here. I don't know if I can do it, but you know what? This is what we're doing. We're transparent. Yeah. Well, it's been a long time. I'm sitting down with my brother, coming from the same holy mother. Everyone's the same soul. We all come from the same father. We're coming down the apocalypse promenade. We are raising hell like only the light can. Every woman, child, and every man. We are the God said, the goddess sent us to align everything locally and universally. Just remember we are the energy of what created us now. There is no fuss, matrix, we tell you we've had enough now.
Spiritual nature, metaphysical flavor. But don't take it too literal or try to be the savior of everyone else's flow. Understand that as you save yourself, you come into your goal. Like you just hit a goal. You know the post, you know the flow, you know the place that you could grow, you know the space that you have held back. Like if you open them, then there's emotion inside that you just flow like a vibe of like a potion that the tribe could sip and see inside and see that I am lit. And see that you were lit, and see that there's a timelessness inside this vibe legit that we could be describing this through. I see it, dude.
Dude, there's something about you know being in the space in full physical consciousness, whether we were just sitting in a room together or other people are here. There's something about putting it out there in a transparent way. Uh, that it doesn't matter what how you sing, for instance, or somebody sings or whatever. It's coming through. It's got a force behind it that is that composite in the physical form embodiment. I believe it's coming out through the voice and collaboration and co-creation. I mean, it's no bullshit, man. We're in the no bullshit zone.
Yeah. Food, the food's got nutrition inside of it,
Yeah.
and there's different ways to spice it. There's different ways to add some sauce and add some flavor, but at the same time, it's about the nutrients, it's about the substance, it's about what's
Yeah.
actually behind it. And that's the truth. And I find deep reflections of truth in all skill levels of forms. It's the vulnerability, brother.
Yeah.
Like that's what it is. Show me you. Show me who you.
Yeah.
I don't care about whatever. Like I actually was at a poetry slam last night. It was interesting,
No
and
kidding.
I didn't want to be there, which was kind of unique because I love these poets. I love this poetry slam, like particular one. It's a place called the Lizard Lounge in Boston. It's a famous event.
Sounds badass.
Yeah, and like in this
Lizard man.
basement or whatever.
Huh.
But the basement is a bar, and I'm feeling like this sort of metaphysical like stuff messing with me, like sort of like just like the bars, like grossness. And then like my body's kind of blocked up. I got some gut issues going on. And then like the first poets come up, it's very victimizer, and I'm just kind of like sitting there like I want to go. And I waited so long for them to start, and I'm like I just don't want to be here. And it's just like this artificialness somehow came into the room, into the consciousness of the room, and it was just like this is not it. And it was just like and so I dipped, like I left, and I just handled my business and took care of
Good.
myself. But like I like the thing is like they're so, and I'm not trying to put them down. They're so intricate. These are experts at their craft. They inspire me. These are poets that like they know how to write four poems in one and put them together and have four different narratives going on at the same time and then sequence them in perfect flow so they all come together in unity. Like they are freaking geniuses at this event. They're primarily black poets in Boston. Like anyone who lives in Boston, like going to Lizard Lounge, like I highly recommend go there, go to a poetry slam. Like you'll learn something about yourself but and about the world. But like there was just something about this evening that just wasn't. And I just like I came, I left, and I realized something about myself. Whether it's Soulogy with you, it's ecstatic dance, it's the Mormon church with my mom.
Hmm.
I love spiritual.
Right.
I don't really like there's a lot of like artificial things in this world that just like I just don't vibe with. I love the deep spirit. That's who I am.
So
I
what
love
you're saying, regardless of what um, the infrastructure is of any of those things that you may have described in a given moment, if you don't feel it, you're not there. But if you feel it, that's why you keep going. That's what we're all having flashes of, moments of, is this. Those are just fucking illusionary walls. That grid is collapsed, and I do feel, and you bring this up, is the way this energy expands and overrides whatever the boogeyman is based on how we step into it, as we step into it, which is including maybe something like this, but it's also including you walking to the forest or me going to the beach at sunset. Okay. Most every day there's something that a higher intelligence that's speaking that's way beyond all the words that we have and all the podcasts and all the it's like, because the animals are involved, the elementals are involved. I believe much more so the trees, the wind, the beach, the water, much more so than any possibility. And I'm not saying they're there or they're not there, but of, let's say, galactic in form has been presented and hidden and disclosed. We're still center of it all. And these things that are closest to us, that we've overlooked in our evolution because we got this information that came in. It's like you said, we, I don't like to use the word need, but like you, for yourself, you're like, we need to ground. Well, grounding, walking out there, doing what you did today, that's where we get energized. That's how we expand.
Right.
Whether a million people are watching us or know about it or nobody knows about it, that's no BS. And that's probably why you got, yeah, you were fiery, man. I mean, it was powerful. You've been very transparent to the moment, in my opinion.
I think it's a confidence thing too. I think, like it's almost like humans and Earth, we lost our confidence. We gave our power away. Like there's all these stories of us giving our power away, like whether it be this Anunnaki, these gods, these whatever, like this group, right? Gave it away, gave it away, gave it. It's like, bro, you're on Earth. Earth is dope. You came here for a reason. Like, yes, like I do experience the metaphysical beyond this planet, but like
Hmm.
ultimately, whether it be us or it be the elementals of this planet, or it be the children, it be the animals of this planet, Earth empowerment. That's what this is about. This is about like us being like we are one on this planet. We are unified in the field. We all are assisting each other in our evolution and our growth. We are all facilitating this journey together for each other. We're learning from each other and like that like we need to have confidence that that
Yeah.
matters and like sometimes we get so far out there into like all of this other stuff and it's like bro, do you know how magical
Or
that
stuck on the grid. Yeah,
you
it's
know
both
how
ends.
magical that little pond that's up
Yeah,
the freaking road from your houses that you walk by that you never think about that's just right
right.
there? Like you could sit right there and just chill for like a half hour and have the most incredible experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. It's like, we've, look, we're reaching a point where we can proceed from a soul perception or a human perception. And, and that's not to discount the human because the human is an active, somewhat equal voice in the soul. It's a part of the monad. It's a part of the team. It's just not the dominant force. It's not. We're not living by interpreting everything through the appraisal system of the human experience as we've been told. So we're in fertile ground, and I was telling the previous guest Zoe that she's an artist. I want to do at least a weekly show where we have a convenient time for all three parts of of the world continents, and just come together and just have like a drum circle jam session with the engineer with the music and just show up for a couple of hours, 3 hours, and just
The
and
Thai
just
Huddle?
try it that way. Just try to share our codes and um, express ourselves that way and see what comes of it. In a unified kind of way. No ego, no agenda. Just let's give it a shot.
I'm all about it, bro. We've done it in the past and it's always been
It feels different now, though. I really feel like it's like you. I see it in you. I see it in my other friends and guests, and I see it in myself. Like you said, that confidence, that spiritual confidence. I think that's what it's coming down to because the world's going to get so loud, and that's where we'll be asked to stay with this.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
When
Like,
we aren't competing anymore. It's
well, just meaning like for years, one of the dominant narratives in these communities has been the time's going to come when we're going to be put to work or we're going to be having to hold the light, so to speak, metaphorically. And I really believe that well, if you look at the trajectory of everything, as we've had this inner expansion, you're having this external distortion get louder and more ridiculous, you know and it's starting to transform like we talked about earlier, where we're starting to see it as a reflection of us and understanding that we keep doing what Robert's been doing, what Todd's doing, what everybody's doing. It's going to change the reflection out there somehow or some way. I don't understand it. I don't think any of us do. I think this is what you were saying earlier. Like, we are physics in form. We are conscious physics with more coming in all the time, and it's like you said, a whole different language. It's a whole different math. It's a whole different geometry. It's brand new. This is what we came for. Although it looks kind of crazy. But anyway, yeah, I'll be in touch. And man, thank you so much for coming in and just fucking, being wide open and transparent and, fiery and, open heart and honest and sincere and genuine and childlike wonder still coming through. And yeah, thank you for the experience. I appreciate it, brother.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for facilitating the experience, and just you're just doing the work, man. Like it's amazing seeing the evolution too on your side. Like I've
Mm.
always seen you evolving, growing, we learning together. So it just
Well, I'd call it dying,
fucking
dying and birthing.
yeah, just
We'll just
oh
get
my
into
god,
that.
shedding skin like I'm in a freaking chrysalis. Like
But I mean, I say that in a totally multifaceted way because there's uh, it's felt in the bodies, the layers of the bodies, mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, other, ethericals, whatever, whatever, however you see things. It's a real deal, and I still think the rest of this summer is going to be pretty hot. So maybe we ought to connect if we don't do an open mic, which I'll probably do one in the next few days. Um, but if not, we should compare notes like once we get out of August, right before the equinox,
yeah,
the 9/9 gateway, shit like that. Oh, we got a what is it? Lionsgate coming 8/8. That's always a big day, and
yeah.
an eclipse is coming again on the second. So who knows? I don't follow all that stuff, but energy wise, you can kind of see the patterns.
I
Right,
trust
brother?
your intuition, bro. You always know. So
No, I don't.
trust it.
I don't know
Well, you don't.
nothing.
I don't know.
I don't
Serendipity.
know nothing. I don't know
You have
nothing.
me on the show when it's time. So I
I,
trust your intuition whenever it flows, bro.
all right, man. Take care. See you later.